So they'll be calling you a radical. So one of the greatest epic classics in this incredible venue's history last night. McLaughlin versus Threatt. Unfucking believable. And I've saw so many classics in this fucking building. I think it's right there at the top. I watched Jimmy Valvano cut down the fucking nets in there. When Ralph Sampson and that talented, unbelievable #1 team in the country, and Valvano upsets them. I have the program from that, and I had Jimmy V sign it. One of the truly greatest fucking coaches in the history of sport, Valvano. I watched Jason Kidd get upset his last game in there, to that great coach from Wisconsin, Green Bay. Unbelievable. I watched last year, I watched St. Thomas versus Dylan Jones. Historic epic. This is the thing that people don't get in this incredible, incredible venue. So I got to tell you this story. So I walk down, I sit on the front row, right behind all the sports, what few sports writers we have left. One, basically, Brent. And, of course, Harkey and Dave Patton doing it. Everybody's giving up their fucking season tickets. The old, sophisticated, beautiful fucking knowledge of basketball fan, well, they passed away, they bolted. They've left. They're all empty. So I walk down, there's a guy sitting right there next to my seat. And I walk down, and I says, what? And he says, no. He says, I'm a young guy. He says, I have money. I travel all over the United States to try to see as many different basketball venues as I could go to. And I decided to start hitting some of the big sky venues. He says, I walked in this place, and he says, oh, my God. Are you kidding me? This is a palace. And he said right to me, he says, I'd imagine you have no problem with recruiting as soon as they walk in here. And I says, oh, boy. I says, this is built in 1975, opened in 76. He says, no. It's like brand new. Yeah. Back when this country this city fucking was sophisticated. And, the craftsman was the king. I was one of them. I says, well, it's been ugly basketball here, really ugly. I says, boy, did you pick the game. This game was epic. I never seen anything like it. Now, as you know, I said, a year ago, and I did videos earlier this year, I wouldn't have believed this a year ago. Watching Blaise Threatt evolve into this NBA caliber player. But I saw it. I saw it happening. Well, you got to play behind Dylan Jones with Dylan Jones. You can see he's picked up a lot at the rim. That first step move to the rim, I've never seen anything like it, ever, in my life. Now, Dylan would do the same type of move, but Dylan would fight you at the rim. Dylan gets drafted by OKC, first rounder. And it was the St. Thomas game and the Dylan Jones game, Northern Colorado. Smiley's old team, used to coach here, is a great coach, which that team's outstanding this year. Big Sky's got so much talent this year. Oh my! I think they have more talent than in the history of the Big Sky. It's incredible. And we need to get... I told Dylan after that game, the St. Thomas game, I said, that's the game that will turn you into NBA first round. You think? And I said, yeah, I think. So, everybody's talking to Dylan, blah, blah, and I look over there, St. Thomas sitting all by himself, just sitting over there on one of the chairs, seats in the Purple Palace. So I walk over, sit right next to him. Just he and I. We sit and visit. And Gavin walks over. We just sit and talk. I had him sign my program. I had Dylan sign it, my ticket, my program. He's at USC now. Dylan is with OKC. Dylan gets drafted by OKC in the first round. Well, OKC is one of the best teams in the... Look, they're the best team in the Western Conference. You don't fix what don't bulk, so he didn't get to play a lot. So, of course, Lillard gets... We were talking, the old sports writers were there last night. We were talking about that game, because I did the play-by-play for KWCR, they did. And we were talking about if Damian Lillard would have... If Anthony Johnson wouldn't have had that incredible, crazy game, Bamford, Scotty Bamford, and Damian Lillard, the greatest backcourt in Weber State history, bar none. bar none. But Randy Ray got out-coached in that game big time. They took the ball out of Damian Lillard's hand, and they could not stop Anthony Johnson, who died of a stroke last year. I said if he would have won that game, he probably would have been the number 2 pick in the NBA draft. And the Lord will tell you that. I don't think he's going above Anthony Davis, but maybe. He's been 1 or 2. So he went to the Trailblazers, who were terrible. So he started immediately, and I think he had, just went off in his first game, after second game, third game, just went crazy. Rookie of the year. Dylan didn't get dropped by a team like that, but he first rounder. So the game last night, I never seen anything like it. I think it was better than the St. Thomas Dylan Jones game. It's one of the great games. I mean, they played so horrible Saturday night. I sat and visited with John Stockton multiple times. I mean, one of the ugliest basketball games I ever saw in my fucking life. It says a lot for these young men, the way they bounced. This game was epic. Weaver comes out on fire. The Henning young man from Washington, fuck, what a first fucking half he had. Are you kidding? You could see this. They were like, you could see that loss, they hit rock bottom and fucking were pissed. But I knew. I told me, Weaver goes up by 20, and I tell this game ain't over. I know how these NIU fucking Weaver State games are. They've been historically wars. By the way, have a conversation with Ben Howland. See if he'll come back here. Remember when he first started at NAU? 3 or 4 Final Fours? One of the great proven winners in basketball history. See if he'll come here. I talked to Dave Patton. I think Dave Patton, an assistant. Jimmy DeGraff, the assistant. For a couple years with Ben Howland. Then let one of them take the program over. We need Weaver State alums. So McLaughlin is some kind of player. So, oh my God, the end of this game, here comes Northern back, which I knew they would. They come like a great racehorse off the fucking pace. I mean, and it's a war. It comes down, the whole game is Dylan Jones Blaise Threatt versus McLaughlin. And they are going at it like 2 heavyweight boxers. It's Ali Frazier. I mean, it's Ali Sheba versus in the Kentucky Derby. They're head bobbing. Boom, boom. Everybody in the house knows who's getting the fucking ball. Everybody. You can't stop either one of them. So Dylan just boom. Driving the lane, score. Fucking, they can't stop him. Both had career highs. McLaughlin coming down, everybody in the house knows that he's logo Lure. Boom, boom, boom. They cannot stop him, either one of them. And it's boom, 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 boom. The game's on the line. So come down there, and McLaughlin just logo Lillard's him. I mean, it's a 35-foot, nothing but net. Poof. Here comes freaking Blaise Threatt, right down the lane with 4 guys on him. And won the old-fashioned way. You'd think the game's over, so, I mean, it's boom, boom, boom. Here he comes again, McLaughlin. He doesn't dagger him once. He daggers him twice. Well, he comes down, he spots up, and poof, nothing but net. Looks like that's probably going to be it. I'm like, are you kidding me? His 35th point, career high. Blaise Threatt career, I've never seen anything like it. It was epic. It was epic. Beyond a classic. Both those 2 performances have put both those guys at the next level. So, looks like NAU's pulled it off. They beat him again now. Here comes the same guy. Blaise has got the ball in his hands. This exactly reminded me of the Michael Jordan. Everybody thinks of the Jordan shot. I was at that game when Jordan hit the shot against the Jazz, but they forget about the year before when it was Steve Kerr hit the shot. Remember? They collapse on him. 3, 4 guys on him. And like ice water, Steve Kerr drills that shot to win the game at the buzzer. NBA Finals. Here he comes down the lane. Vivi, Finland, young guy. Bartiami kicks it over. Weaver gets their first win at home. Are you kidding? Granted, they blew the 20-point lead, but look, sport in this, and I really think that they need to get rid of the Big Sky tournament. The Big Sky basketball and Big Sky football are the best kept secrets in the country. This kid that's here, he says, I've never seen anything like this. Oh my God. He says, I'm going to hit them all now. Where would you suggest I go? And I said, well, you're living in Denver right now. What about Northern Colorado? That team's outstanding. Yeah, I says, head on up to Bozeman. I mean, right here, Polkdale, Idaho State, that gym's cool as hell. Ain't this? I mean, these young guys walk in here when they're getting recruited, and why do you think everybody gets up? You get into this arena. They look at this arena, and this is the big stage. They know it, and they're like, whoa, whoa. You know the games I've seen in there? The venues I've seen in there? Oh, my God. I remember watching Stevie Nicks. We were back in 1980 because it's a round venue and it's restricted view, so the curtain would cover and she's between sets snorting cocaine. So fucking incredible. I mean, all the great events, why'd we stop that shit? Why'd we fucking lose our place? I don't get it. He's like, I've never seen anything like this place. This venue's incredible. I said, what do you think? I mean, the game, he's like, oh my God. He says, that's like the greatest basketball game I ever fucking saw. Yeah. Unbelievable. That game. So after the game, I walk over and I know the McLaughlin's upset. And by the way, Threatt and McLaughlin are both born in Arizona. I mean, they're Arizona guys. You don't think they know each other? So much respect for each other, and they're guarding each other. I mean, it was incredible just watching these two heavyweights go at each other. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Both career highs. It was epic. Talk about winners, class acts, both of them. So after the game, I'm sure he's upset. He's in the locker room. So one of the female trainers for them, from Northern Arizona, I says, hey, here's my program. Here's my game ticket. I mean, I'm sure he's probably upset, but could you see if he'll sign him for me? She says, I'll go ask. I don't know. He is pretty upset, because they don't like losing. Of course, these are marquee athletes at a high level. At a very high. Ask Damian Lillard. Ask Dylan Jones. Ask Jerry Carding. This is a high level of fucking athletes that are in a whole other space. I said, just tell him one thing for me. Walk in there and tell him that was one of the most impressive performances I've ever seen in this building. And his game is starting to remind me of Sam Merrill's. So, okay, I'll go try. She walks in there. I'm waiting. It's quite some time. She comes out with ball sign, and she says, I told him what you said. And she says, he lit up. His face just, Sam Merrill's from right up the road, born and raised. You see, he had 37 the other night. And his game reminds me of Sam Merrill. Sam Merrill's just on the best team in the NBA. That's all. Him and Donovan Mitchell. Who the Jazz got rid of. I saw preseason fucking Jazz games in there. I saw John Stockton play in there. I saw his son fucking launch out of a bus. I mean, epic. Historic. Well, I think that game, I think will change both McLaughlin and Blaise Threatt's lives. I'm telling you. I watched Lillard playing here pretty well every game he ever played. I watched Jerry Carding pretty well every game he ever played. I mean, Dylan Jones every game he ever fucking played. All these fucking... I watched Valvano cut down the nets. I watched Jason Kidd's last fucking... I mean, I watched some of the most epic fucking sporting events in history in that fucking building. That's way up there with them. And, there's two different, really, coaching philosophies in sport. Really, it's the Michael Jordan model. You take this marquee player, and then you take, other really great, good players, and they put them in roles. Coach, you don't think Phil knew how to do that? Even before that, I mean, Phil knew how to do that. I mean, George Jordan, and the others fill the roles. That's one coaching philosophy that has been proven it fucking works. It's been proven it fucking works. I mean, Michael Jordan proved that. So there's the other philosophy. You put this team together where it's a different guy steps up every fucking day, blah, 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 blah. Both can work. But the coach has to understand who he has, what he has. And at college level, it changes every fucking year. So it's very dynamic, fluid situation. Smiley coaches Northern. They're the best team in the league, bar none. And get rid of this Big Sky fucking tournament. Get rid of it. It's pathetic. Win the Big Sky fucking regular season and go to the NCAA tournament. Because think about it. If you don't, look what last year happened. You're going to get the play-in game. You know, you put the best team in there in the tournament, maybe they can finally get a fucking NCAA tournament. My philosophy, this is my idea, and I've had this idea for many years, you've heard it multiple times from me, is to start another tournament and have it right here in this Purple Palace. And call it the World Showcase tournament. We have so many players from all over the world that play here. We have so many players from here that play in Europe that are major superstars. Jarek Harding to my face. Why'd you come here, Jarek? You know, he's recruited all over. He says, Damian Lillard's my favorite player. And by the way, Damian Lillard's a god here. And Damian Lillard stayed very connected to this community. Very connected. You know what I call this place? I call this place, here comes the freeway. This is madness, right? I call this place the Damian Lillard's personal training facility. Damian Lillard's staying very connected to this community. Damian Lillard's a fucking god here. I mean, rightfully so, because he's stayed so connected to this place, to this university. So, I think we should start a postseason tournament here, called the World Showcase Tournament. Fuck the NCAA tournament. I mean, what that's turned into. I mean, okay, you win the tournament, the Big Sky tournament, you get to go play one game and get fucking beaten, it's over. It's ridiculous, actually, what it's turned into. The Big Sky tournament's a joke. When it used to be a home venue with the Final 14, but even that, I mean, Lillard didn't get to play in the NCAA tournament. Because Anthony Johnson had the greatest performance in the history of that fucking building. 46 fucking points, didn't he have in that game when they scored 66? Never missed a field goal, a free throw in 3 quarters. 3 guys on him. And Randy Ray got out fucking coached. Big time he got out coached. Tingle out coached him. They're down by 20-something points. They took the ball out of Lillard's hand. They're like, they're number 1 free throw shooter in the country. Don't foul Lillard. Don't foul him. Double, triple team him, but do not foul him. I can hear him telling his players that. As soon as he passes the ball, foul this guy, this guy. They went to the foul technique with like 15 minutes to go in the game. Doink. They were in the double fucking doink, 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 doink. Because he had to, as soon as those, and Randy Ray was trying to fucking, what's that old saying? The prevent defense, prevent offense, all the prevent, what he went to it. I remember Lillard right there shooting the ball. He's looking back like this, trying to kill it. And they're just standing there, just letting him kill the clock. Go ahead, kill the clock. We don't care. You know, run the clock out. You know, they weren't about to foul him. And Anthony Johnson gets the ball, double, triple team. Anthony Johnson was interviewed after, years later. You never had a game like that before. You never had a game after like that. He says, I had an out-of-body experience. You know, he passed away last year. He had a stroke. We should be having patches in everybody's uniform in the Big Sky. That's the greatest performance in the history of the fucking Big Sky single game. Unarguable, undoubtedly. Big Sky has won 1 NCAA tournament since the great Harold Arsenal and the great Eddie Gill. You know, and that was Kosovo in 2007. We need to start another tournament here. By the way, you know, and I think, well, just like Dylan Jones, I told Dylan after this, St. Thomas is at USC right now, turning it up, getting in on it. It's like Great Osabar. He was here, the Utah State game. He was standing there, you know, he plays for Montana, now he's at Washington now, got all the money, you know, and I know Danny. Danny and I used to go to NCAA tournament games together. You know, we'd go to Nevada, and look what, the Big Sky, fuck. It's best kept. I think there's more talent in this fucking league right now than there's ever been. McLaughlin. He's phenomenal. I mean, the guy, well, he's built like Sam Merrill. He plays like Sam Merrill. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. And clutch. You know, it's all about clutch. Basketball's simple. Simple. It's about making shots. It's about playing it. It's about getting rebounds, staying in the game, making shots. But it's about clutch shots. That's what it all comes down to. Sport. Well, you can say that about any sport. It comes down to big-time players stepping up in big-time moments, which is hard to do. Ask Joe Montana. Ask freaking Terry Bradshaw. Ask fucking Michael Jordan. You know, Bill Russell, fucking John Havlicek. Ask those guys stepping up in clutch. Well, the king. Well, everybody knows the king, Michael Jordan. I was at that game in Salt Lake, and I'm sitting there. $66 I had my face value ticket. Sitting around on the 12th row car. The guys from Chicago paid 6,000 or 7,000 scalp sitting next to me. He bubbles back all the way around against Karl Malone. He waits and he saves that for the clutch. Pippen's got back spasms. He's out. This is going to go to 7. Jazz have the ball with the lead. They know what Sloan's going to do. He's so predictable. Michael Jordan waited and waited. Circles all the way back. He hadn't done it the whole game. Circles back and surprises him when he steals the ball. Timeout. I told the guys next to this game's over. What do you talk, guys? Everybody on the face of the fucking planet knows who's getting the ball. Michael Jordan. Will he kick it to Kerr? I says, he ain't kicking it to nobody. Because Jerry Sloan took Chris Morris out of the game. Chris Morris had Jordan shut down. He couldn't get over him. I used to know Chris Morris. I used to play blackjack with him in the day. I knew Russell couldn't guard him. Everybody knew. We watched it the whole thing. This game's over. Oh, no. Oh, you think he's going to miss? Everybody in the world knows he's going to take the last shot. I knew. So, sure shit. Clutch. That's what it's about. That's why teams like, people don't get it. Those are the guys that come playoff time in all sport rise up. I mean, ask freaking Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, ask fucking, well, even before Jerry Rice. I mean, what was those great wide receivers, John Taylor? Ask Ronnie Lott. You know, ask, Tom Brady. Ask Michael Jordan. Last night. I never seen such clutch players, both of them. And I've been here. It says such character for these players that we were saying. I don't like this coaching tree. I can't stand it. Not them as a person. I love them as people. Eric Duff is a fantastic person, great person. I think he's an awesome guy. He's fantastic. Randy Ray, I love Randy Ray. Randy Ray was one of my favorite people in history. I couldn't stand his coaching philosophy. Drove me fucking nuts. He's called slugging rats. Fuck, he was in his own bubble. He still is in his own fucking world. I was at the Capitol yesterday, running some people from Cache Valley that know Randy personally, because, he coached up there tomorrow. So, this game will change. And I said it. I did videos here not just recently. I told you. I watched this guy evolve. And I've known him since the day he got here. And he come up to me, Blaise. He invited me to practice, whatever. But I'll tell you when I knew. He's like Lillard. He's like Dylan. Lillard and Dylan were so focused. Oh, I never seen people focused like those two. Never in my life. In anything. Just intent. I saw Blaise turn into that this year. I ran to in the library one day and I said, "What you got to study. You could see he's all in. He made up in his mind that he was going to improve his game and become this marquee player last spring. I saw it. I watched it. And he come into this season, whole different player. He come in and I just watched him go like this. That was the way Lillard was. Lillard was good. But Lillard, I was in a bone marrow transplant dying of cancer. Sucked up. But Lillard had last year, 2011, 2012. And, Montana somehow got that home game. I don't know how. And that's when he started logoing Lillard after the game was over. He didn't get to play in the NCAA tournament. Neither Jerry Carty. Fucking Jerry Carty. My God, what a player. What he's doing in Europe. This NCAA tournament thing's a joke in the Big Skies. Look, I can't believe people fleeing watching this. Fuck the players you're going to see here. Not just on our team, Weber's. Other Big Sky's so loaded. This player that Northern Colorado team is so good. That player they have for Idaho State that'll be here Saturday. I mean, my God. Same with football. I was telling that guy, we have 6 players in the NFL. If one team nobody wanted, including Teron Johnson, they played at Weber? Yeah, on the same team. Nobody wanted them. But that culture's a mess over there. Jay Hill left. Here, What a credit to these young guys. Granted they do this, but I knew that. It's like great racehorse. I mean, I've watched these Northern Arizona Weber epics. I mean, you want to talk two teams that go out. I mean, it's epic in this fucking palace. So, but my hat's off to, you know, the great Jimmy DeGraff. He signed this for me. Me and I graduated together, went to school together, one school business in the country. I talked to Dave Patton all the time. I think Dave Patton would make one great coach. They need to be mentored for a while by a legend, a winner. We got tons of them. It blows my mind how we turn our back on our own. Well, ask Vaughn McKay Brody. Ask Wat Masaka. How come we turn our back on those people? They're Weber State. Born and raised here in this town. Kevin Blanch. Trevon Smith. Who's that? How come we spit on our own? How come we don't promote from within? I don't get it. There's no doubt in my mind Lillard will be the coach here one day. But the way Lillard's going, I don't know. I mean, he's so physically incredibly in shape, he could play 10 more years easily. And so, who knows? But, this coaching tree's worn out, and that's nothing against them personally. I fucking love those guys personally. He's a fantastic guy, but he's had a long run here. I mean, Dust's been here for 20 fucking years. And so, to be able to last as a coach is 20 years is nearly impossible in this business. I told Blaise last night to his face the same thing I told Dylan. This is the game. That game that you just had is the game that's going to put you in the NBA. And I'm telling you, McLaughlin, I wasn't able to talk to him, but I told him, this is the game. This game was epic. 2,500 fans here. Place holds 12,000. Used to be packed all the time, but winning matters. But it's more than just winning. A lot. To be able to watch these young, incredible players develop. Derek Harding, Damian Lillard, fucking Dylan Jones, Blaise. I saw him fucking. I saw it right before my eyes. Fucking, he's a winner. I mean, and dedication. How about V hitting that cold? I mean, that did so much for that young guy. Two freak. I love that guy. I mean, so it's about watching young people develop and turn into these incredible men. Marquee athletes at a marquee. They're a whole nother world. They live in I played AAU in those days. I fucking, my dad, the famous coach, he hated all these high school coaches, and, so I remember Salvo coming along, Paul, and he developed his AAU programs, his AAU teams, and, go on and just beat the shit out of all the high school teams or whatever. These guys all played AAU type, including Lillard. They didn't, it wasn't just high school basketball. These guys start playing at a young age against each other at a high level. They know each other. They're both Arizona guys. Fuck you, they've known each other for fucking ever, and they both stepped up, and you could see them going right at each other. You could see the respect for each other, but never seen a classic like that. Both of them, both career highs. Never. I mean, I rank it in my top 5 or 10 in the history of this pad. Like I said, I watched Thurl Bailey and fucking Valvano fucking pull one of the great upsets in the history of sport in that palace in '83, going to win the national championship. I watched the Cheeseheads upset that great Cal team. Fuck, just outcoached team. I've watched so many marquee events in here in games. The great Anthony Johnson game. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. Even the Stockton game Saturday when he launches up the scud with the buzzer and visiting with John. I'll never forget that. I mean, as ugly as it gets, epic. So hats off to you guys. And Big Sky Bat, we need a new tournament. Let's have it here. A postseason tournament called the World Showcase Tournament. Invite teams. Invite 16, 32 teams. Fuck, whatever. Started out with 8 teams. Whatever. And play for the month of fucking March, late March and April madness. We need another tournament. Showcase these guys. Basketball is expanding globally exponentially. The opportunities for these players all over the world exponential. So here you got Jerry Harding Turn it up. Dylan, fuck, Dylan's so good, but he's on the bench of that great. You don't fix what ain't broken, right? That's the difference between Dylan and Damien. Damien went to a really bad team, became the superstar medic. Dylan went to a really great team, both first rounders. So that game will change both those guys' lives. It was incredible. Absolutely one of the truly, and I've been, start having try me on fucking marquee sporting events. I was at every Jazz Bulls finals game in Salt Lake, every Jazz playoff game. From 1985 to 2000, the number one winning franchise in the country. What was it? The Utah Jazz. Fuck, the players I got to see in the 90s? Are you kidding me? The 80s? Ricky Green, my favorite, by the way. Hot Rod Hundley? Fuck. We have the great Carl Archie. Long live the memory of Steve Klauke. I sure miss him. I sure miss Steve Klauke. Killed tragically. I love Steve Klauke. One of my favorite people of all time. Was tragically killed. We should be doing something for him too. Really should put a statue up of him. So that game was one of the greatest classic sporting events I've ever seen in my life. Stand tuned.